Hi, friends. This is Marco, and this is my Learning Bytes segment on LearnStream TV. I am so excited that you decided to stick around for a second episode. Just completely humbled. And what that means is that you definitely are exploring becoming an instructional designer or some type of learning practitioner. And I'm hoping to share with you my anecdotes over the last 18 years. And hopefully, that not only helps you become a member of our growing industry, but helps you make some great decisions early on that will set you up to succeed later on in your career. So, in this second segment, we're going to focus more on overcoming that fear of failure. I alluded to that in my first episode. And essentially, what that means is that you might want to try something, but you're kind of holding back because you're scared of what may happen. And I'm going to tell you something very bluntly, okay? You're going to make mistakes in this trade, and you're going to make a lot of them. And you might even make them daily. And you've seen me make a few just in this video. So if you're expecting to achieve that level of perfection, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. That's not going to happen. You're going to do all your research. Let's assume years from now you're doing a project. You're going to put it all together, and you're going to have a project plan, and you're going to execute on that plan. And guess what? It's never going to have the impact that you're hoping that it's going to have. I don't mean to be negative. I'm just being realistic. And there's a beauty to it because I feel that instructional design is more of an art than it is a science. Now, there is science in there. I'm not going to sit here and play down the science. It's there. But it's more of an art. It's got that slight edge because there's a certain level of storytelling and a certain level of realism that comes into play that I feel makes it special. Just go out to an art gallery and you're going to notice that art is not perfect. And that's the beauty that lies within it. That's what attracts people. That's what makes people dream and wonder. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to think of instructional design that way. So if you have all of these fears that are taking over you and you're saying, well, I'm not going to be good enough, or my video's not going to be perfect, or the lighting. I mean, come on, I've had that shiny spot on my head the entire time. The lighting is never going to be perfect, and that's okay. What I'm going to encourage you to do is to pursue your passions, right? If your passion is to sit there and edit videos, and like you've always wanted to make videos and they don't come out the way you intended to, that's okay. Just put it out there and get some feedback, right? The more you do it through practice, through iteration, right? And by taking in that feedback, like I talked about earlier, I feel that that's how you're going to perfect and become better and better at what you do. And if you feel that there might be somebody that comes down and gives you feedback that just doesn't make you feel very well, number one, if that person's giving you feedback in a way that they belittle you, that's on them, not on you, right? But if you have a lot of people that are coming through and giving you that constructive feedback, right, don't be scared of that. Take that into account and say, you know what? I'm going to take ownership of this. And all this feedback that I'm getting, it's a gift, right? Now, if I, excuse my language, screw it up, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work out the way that I need to, you yourself are the first learner, right? So if you can take that information and next time you do either the same product or a new product, you use that to then enhance it, then you as a learner are practicing the things that you are preaching to the audiences through these learning creations that you're putting together, right? So you can't be scared of failure. You have to embrace it. I'm going to go back to a story that I did in my first episode where I talked about a company that I worked for where I took the slides upon myself and of course I asked permission. So when I did it, I thought that the slides looked kind of bland, right? So I started to add like gradients to the background. I kind of changed the colors and, the client really trusted me. So I went ahead and just did my thing. So I was very proud of it. So I didn't do any reviews or anything. I invited the client to come on down to, I forget what city. I think I might have been in like Pennsylvania or Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, it's in Pennsylvania, Marco. Come on. I think it was Philly or Pittsburgh. And when the client came down, he sat down and experienced my presentation. And I mean, I was getting like literally almost like a standing ovation. I felt really good about this one. And then my client comes up to me and goes like, "Your presentation was spot on. The slides and the content itself, eh." And I'm like, "Well, what, you didn't like it?" And it's like, "No, it's not about what I didn't like. It's just it was off brand and it was kind of all over the place." And I'm going like, "Dude, that's not what I wanted to hear." Right? So in that moment, yes, I did feel kind of like a failure because I had put something together that I was very proud of, and then I had somebody else literally like poop on it, to use the lack of a better word. And yeah, that's what ended up happening is that I learned from them, right? And I immediately said, you know what? He's right. Like I need to learn more about what branding is. I need to be able to make sure that I review this kind of stuff with clients before I put it out there. So just by trial by error, I was able to go in and make some, modifications. So the next time that I went and did those slides, I went ahead and read up on the brand standards. I tried to kind of adhere more by them. I ran it by a couple of peers, and then I came back to the client, and he came back and he said that's a good effort. However, it's still missing a few things that I think you need to learn. So now that client, many years later, has become a personal mentor of mine. We're still very good friends. But what that taught me is that it's okay to fail. As long as you're picking yourself up and learning and applying what you learned immediately, that's how we iterate, right? We start building upon our failures and we start making our products better and better. And that's what I'm hoping you will learn out of this is that you don't need to achieve perfection. You simply need to put yourself in the shoes of a learner and know I am always learning. I'm always looking to better myself and better my content. And that's a never ending cycle. And as long as you do that, you will be very successful in this business. I hope you enjoyed this episode. In the next one, we're going to talk about your personal brand and how you can take that strength that you've identified and make it into who you are and getting that exposure out there. Until next time, my friends, take care.